In partnership with Redpoint Ventures, we are at Nasdaq's MarketSite celebrating the launch of the Nasdaq Redpoint Cloud Infrastructure Software Index. My name is Christina Ayanian, and joining me today is Chief Technology Officer of Confluent, Chad Verbowski. Chad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, let's talk about Confluent. What does the company do, and what is the data streaming category?
So Confluent puts everybody's data in motion. Nowadays, everybody needs to have things in real time. When you're scheduling an Uber ride or a Lyft ride, you want to be able to coordinate very quickly with drivers. When you're purchasing things online, you want that purchase to happen immediately. Or even if you're just doing your generic banking, you want that and you expect that to happen immediately. Confluent and data in motion is about ensuring that all of this data that's required to make that experience real-time and unique can happen. So every company in the world can experience that real-time data analytics.
We're living in an era of efficiency, and Confluent has really revolutionized the way that businesses handle their data.
Absolutely.
So who are the kinds of customers that you work with?
We work with all verticals and all industries. You can't really imagine any business nowadays that doesn't benefit from real-time data. So if you look at all of the major verticals in banking, in finance, in retail, everybody is essentially a customer of Kafka, which is the underpinning of what we use to build real-time data.
Now, earlier this year, you acquired a company called Immerok. Can you talk a little bit about that acquisition and how that's helping Confluent's strategic plan?
Absolutely. So it's not enough to just collect and process and work with your data in real time. You have to be able to process it and integrate it from all various different sources. Confluent believes that open source is the way to build and expand your experience so that you're not locked into any given vendor. So what we did is we purchased Immerok, which is the preeminent developers of a product called Flink. And so those people are helping us make sure that we can build an enterprise data platform that can not only collect and move data in real time, but you can process it and work with it to get those results that you need.
You mentioned the word open source, or the term open source. For some of our viewers who may not know, what is open source?
So open source is the idea that the software is actually freely available so that you can run it yourself, or companies like Confluent can run it for you. And we can provide that in a way that makes it cheaper, easier, faster, and more reliable for you to get your work done. So it's more or less an interchange, a way to have standards for how you build and develop your systems.
And everyone is building on top of each other. And with open source, are you learning from your customers who are also using this open source platform?
That's right. So in open source, there's committers from various companies around the world and individuals that enjoy working on these platforms. So it's not just Confluent that's making this great, but we have the power and expertise of people from around the world.
It's a very community-centric approach.
Absolutely.
How do you differentiate yourself from your competitors?
We do three things that I think are very unique. One is that we're cloud native. So we don't just take this open source software and run it in the cloud. We've reimagined this to be able to provide highly robust, low latency, and cost effectiveness that nobody else can provide. We also provide this everywhere. So this exists on all the major cloud providers, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and we provide a version that you can run yourself if you want to still operate and maintain your own software. Nobody else does this. The third thing that we do is actually completeness. So we don't just provide a way for you to collect that data, as I mentioned before, but we provide the technologies that you need to process it. And most importantly, we provide what you need to govern it so that you can secure it and make sure that only the people that need to have access can have access, but also that everybody who should have access can easily discover and work with it, so you get the most value possible out of your data.
It sounds like you're an end-to-end solution and you're helping companies become more agile.
That's correct. And that's why we think of data in motion and this stream processing as its own category. We think that that's the way that the future will reward, and that's what customers need. They need to be able to collect and work with all of their data in real time in an end-to-end way.
There's so much growth ahead, and Confluent has also experienced tremendous growth. Where do you see the company going in 5 to 10 years?
In 5 to 10 years, I think the world is going to require data in motion. It's going to require all of the interaction that you have in real time. There's no reason that anybody should want to wait a day, an hour, or a minute to be able to process their data. So 5 years from now, I think that Confluent will be the backbone of providing all of that infrastructure to make it easy for everyone, not just the experts, to be able to work with data in real time.
As Chief Technology Officer, I'm curious on your take on the AI boom. How is this affecting Confluent?
You know, the interesting part about AI that I've been seeing, especially from both the research papers and the practical application of this by various companies, is that the more real-time your data is, the better your results are. In fact, not just collecting these models that are built, especially with generative AI, but coupling that with what's happening in the real sense. Like, for example, if you're predicting videos in some kind of online application, the most relevant thing is what you've just seen or just watched. If you're booking some travel and there's a road closure or an accident on the road, the most relevant thing to picking the best and optimal route is that real-time information. So we think, and we've seen, that real-time data really makes AI useful and practical in the broader world.
Absolutely, and then businesses are able to use that data and drive strategic business initiatives.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are so grateful for our Nasdaq Confluent partnership, and we look forward to having you back at Nasdaq soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.